I saved them once, and it cost me my life. So when fate gave me a second chance, standing in front of that burning bistro, I realized something important. Not every fire needs a firefighter. Sometimes you just need to bring the marshmallows. This is a story about a second chance and a bridge burned to ashes. You are listening to Midnight Cravings. Turn down the lights. Put on your headphones. Tonight's story is a dish best served cold. The lawyer's office smelled of mahogany and stale coffee. Outside, the relentless rain lashed against the glass, blurring the city lights of New York into streaks of cold neon. I sat there, gripping my purse until my knuckles turned white, waiting to hear my late husband's final words. Giafon was dead, and honestly, I thought I was ready for grief. I wasn't ready for the joke. The lawyer cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable as he adjusted his glasses. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Mrs. Tang, he began, his voice devoid of emotion. Mr. G has left the entirety of his estate, including the liquid assets, the company shares, and the family manor to Miss Wei Jia. Silence. The air seemed to leave the room instantly. I stared at him, unable to process the words. Every penny? Everything we built? My dowry? My parents' investments? My 30 years of sweat and tears? There is a personal note, the lawyer continued, sliding a piece of paper across the polished desk. I picked it up. I recognized Giafon's sharp, arrogant handwriting immediately. The words burned into my retinas. It read, I never touched you, Tang Man. Not once in 30 years. I faked my illness to keep myself pure for Wei Jia. You forced me into this marriage when you saved us from that fire. You owe us this. Memories flooded back, hitting me like a tsunami. I remembered the nights I sat by his bedside, wiping his brow, believing his lies about his weak heart and his inability to be intimate. I remembered working 3 jobs while he recovered, paying for Wei Jia's medical expenses because he said she was a destitute friend. I had been the perfect wife, the perfect fool. I felt my heart hammer against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of betrayal. The audacity, the sheer unadulterated cruelty of it. He had used me as a shield, a bank account, and a nurse for 3 decades, all while laughing at me with her in secret hotels paid for with my money. Darkness swarmed the edges of my vision. My chest tightened, squeezing the life out of me until everything went black. Then came the heat. It wasn't the slow warmth of a morning sun. It was a blistering, suffocating heat that hit me like a physical blow. I gasped, my eyes snapping open. The smell of the lawyer's office was gone, replaced instantly by the acrid stench of burning wood and melting plastic. Screams erupted around me, piercing and terrified. Fire! Get out! Move! Someone screamed. I looked down at my hands. They were smooth, unwrinkled. The age spots were gone. The wedding ring was gone. I touched my face, no wrinkles, no exhaustion. I looked up. I was standing in the lobby of the bistro, 30 years in the past. It was the fire of 1996, the night my life had ended, and the night my hell had begun. Tang Man, help us. The voice came from the balcony above. My head snapped up. There they were, Giafon and Wei Jia. They were young, beautiful, and utterly terrified. Smoke billowed behind them, trapping them against the railing, the orange glow of the flames licking at their heels. Tang Man, Wei Jia screamed, her face twisted in panic, her mascara running down her cheeks like black tears. Don't just stand there. The door is blocked. Save us. In my past life, my first life, I didn't hesitate. I was a naive girl, blinded by a crush on the handsome heir. I had charged into that inferno, burned my arms, scarred my face, and dragged them to safety. That act of heroism was the chain that bound me to them. It forced Giafon's wealthy family to pressure him into marrying me out of obligation. It was the beginning of my tragedy, but this time, I stood still. The flames danced in my eyes, reflecting the rage that had traveled with me across time and death. I remembered the will. I remembered the note. You owe us this, he had written. A cold, bitter smile touched my lips. It felt foreign, but it felt right. No, I whispered, the sound lost in the roar of the fire. Not this time. I turned my back on them. I walked calmly toward the exit, blending into the fleeing crowd, letting the chaotic tide of people carry me to safety. I didn't run. I walked. Behind me, a massive crash shook the floor. It was the sound of the heavy crystal chandelier giving way. I glanced back one last time. Through the thick smoke, I saw it happen in slow motion. I saw Wei Jia, the love of his life, shoved Yufan forward to shield herself. Her survival instinct was stronger than her love. The glass and metal smashed into his back. His scream was lost in the roar of the collapsing ceiling. I stepped out into the cool night air, took a deep breath, and walked away. The sirens wailed in the distance, but for the first time, they sounded like victory music. The hospital waiting room was a sea of white, blinding and sterile. The smell of antiseptic was nauseating. Mrs. G, Yufan's mother, stormed down the hallway like a hurricane in designer heels, her face a mask of fury. In my past life, this woman had made me feel small every single day. She had mocked my clothes, my cooking, my family. Where is he? Where is my son? She shrieked, ignoring the nurses trying to calm her. Wei Jia was there, huddled in a blanket on a plastic chair. She wasn't burned, just covered in soot. The moment she saw Mrs. G, she launched into her performance. It's her. Wei Jia pointed a shaking finger at me. Tang Man, she saw us. She stood there and watched. She wanted him to die. Mrs. G's hand flew up, aiming for my face. In my past life, I took that slap. I lowered my head and apologized for not being faster. I let them guilt trip me into a lifetime of servitude. This time, I caught her wrist midair. My grip was iron. Don't, I said. My voice was low, dangerous. The hallway fell silent. Mrs. G looked at me in shock. The submissive girl she knew was gone. You want to know why your son is in surgery? Ask her. I nodded toward Wei Jia, whose eyes went wide. Ask her who pushed him under the chandelier to save her own skin. Ask her why she doesn't have a single burn on her body while your son is fighting for his life. Wei Jia went pale beneath the soot. I slipped. I didn't mean to. Save it for the police, I said, dropping Mrs. G's hand with a shove. And don't expect me to pay a dime for his medical bills. We're done. Days later, I stood in Yufan's hospital room. He looked like a mummy, wrapped in thick bandages. His handsome face, the face I had adored and worshipped, was ruined. Third-degree burns covering 60% of his body. He looked at me with his one good eye, filled with resentment. Everyone leave, Yufan rasped, his voice sounding like grinding sandpaper. I need to talk to Tang Man. When we were alone, the air grew heavy. You came back too, didn't you? He whispered. I didn't flinch. I stood at the foot of his bed, arms crossed. Maybe. He let out a dry, hacking laugh that turned into a cough. Good. Then you know the rules. Stay away from us. In the last life, I only married you out of pity because you were disfigured, saving me. But Wei Jia, she is my soulmate. She loves me for who I am. She didn't mean to push me. She was scared. I looked at him, lying broken in that bed, still arrogant, still delusional. Even now, he defended her. Pity? I scoffed. You married me because your family's company was sinking, and my father bailed you out. You used me for 30 years, Yufan. You drained my family dry. You think that was love? That was parasitism. We're even now, he spat. Get out. Wei Jia will never leave me. Our love is stronger than money. I walked to the door, pausing with my hand on the handle. Stronger than money? All right. Yufan, let's test that theory. I went home to my parents that night. The house was warm, smelling of my father's cooking. In the previous timeline, I had drained their retirement savings to prop up the G family empire. I had begged my father to invest in Yufan's failing projects just to earn a smile from my husband. My father had died of a stroke caused by stress, and my mother had followed him soon after. I had killed them with my stupidity. I hugged my mother tight, tears stinging my eyes. I'm back, I whispered. I'm really back, Dad, I said over dinner later, slicing my steak calmly. The G family is going to call you. They need capital. My father nodded, looking concerned. I heard. Yufan's medical bills alone are astronomical, and their stock is plummeting because of the scandal. They asked for a $5 million loan. Don't give them a cent, I said, looking him in the eye. Cut all TIs. In fact, pull our existing partnerships immediately. Call the bank. Tell them the Tang family is withdrawing all support. My parents were shocked. But man, you love him. I loved a ghost, I said, my voice steady. The ghost is gone. Now I want to focus on us, on our legacy. The next day, I didn't go to the hospital to peel apples for Yufan. I went to my father's company. I walked into the boardroom wearing a sharp black suit. I threw down a market analysis report I had written from memory containing 30 years of future business knowledge and said, I want to work. I spent the next 3 months systematically dismantling the G family's business. I knew their secrets. I knew which suppliers were corrupt, which accounts were fake, and which products would fail. I tipped off auditors. I snatched up their key clients. While I was building an empire, the G family was crumbling. News traveled fast in our circle. The G Group's stock was in freefall. Banks were calling in loans. They were drowning. And Wei Jia? I saw her a month later at a high-end boutique. I was there conducting market research. She was there trying to buy a limited edition handbag, clinging to the last shreds of her status. She looked thinner, her eyes frantic. I'm sorry, miss, the cashier said loudly, drawing looks from other customers. This card has been declined. Wei Jia turned red, sweat beading on her forehead. Try it again. It's Yufan's card. It has no limit. The limit is 0, miss. The account is frozen due to bankruptcy proceedings. I stepped forward, holding up my own black card. I'll take the bag, I told the cashier, and the shoes she's wearing. Actually, wrap up everything she touched. I don't want it on the shelf anymore. Wei Jia spun around, her eyes bulging when she saw me. Tang, man, you did this. I didn't do anything. I smiled sweetly, enjoying the trembling of her lips. I just stopped saving you. By the way, how is Yifan? Have you visited him lately? Or are you too busy looking for a new ATM? She snarled at me and stormed out, leaving a trail of humiliation behind her. 3 months post-fire, the collapse was complete. The G family was officially bankrupt. They had sold the villa, the luxury cars, even Mrs. G's vintage jewelry. They were living in a cramped, moldy rental apartment on the edge of the city. Yifan was discharged from the hospital, scarred, crippled, and penniless. I hired a private investigator to keep tabs on them. I wanted to watch. I needed to see the true love unfold without my money cushioning the blow. The videos he sent me were better than any movie. There was no romance in that cramped apartment. There was only screaming. You useless cripple. Wei Jia screamed in one video, throwing a cheap vase at Yifan. Look at you. You're disgusting. I can't even look at your face without vomiting. Why didn't you just die in the fire so I could get the insurance money? Yifan was on his knees, sobbing, clutching her dress. But Jia, I did it for you. I took the blow for you. You said you loved me. I loved your money. She shrieked, kicking him away. I loved the villa. I loved the cars. Now look at us. We are eating instant noodles in a rat hole. I'm young. I'm beautiful. I deserve better than a monster like you. That night, Wei Jia packed her bags. She had found a new target, a wealthy older man I knew from my business circles. I had actually introduced them indirectly, knowing exactly what kind of woman she was. Yifan tried to stop her. He clung to her leg, begging, humiliating himself. She kicked him away like a stray dog and slammed the door, leaving him alone in the dark. That was the breaking point. The next morning, I found Yifan waiting outside my office building. It was pouring rain, a cold, gray downpour that soaked into your bones. He looked like a ghost. His bandages were dirty, soaked through, and he was shivering violently. People walked past him, averting their eyes, disgusted by his scars. When he saw me step out of the lobby, dressed in designer silk and surrounded by security, he threw himself onto the wet pavement. Ma'am, he howled, his voice cracking. Tang man, please. My security guard stepped forward to block him, but I raised a hand. I wanted to hear this. I wanted to see the man who had treated me like trash for 30 years beg. I was wrong. Yifan cried, crawling toward me through the mud. I see it now. Wei Jia is a devil. You are the only one who ever truly loved me. In the last life, you stayed by my side. You built the company for me. You took care of my parents. Let's start over. Please, give me another chance. I can fix this. I can be the husband you deserve. I looked down at him. I searched my heart for any lingering affection, any pity, but I felt nothing. No hate, no love, just indifference. It was as if I was looking at a stranger. You don't love me, Yifan, I said, my voice cutting through the sound of the rain. You just loved that I was useful. You missed the ATM machine, not the wife. You missed the comfort I provided. No, I remember the will. I remember everything. We can fix this. I promise. I leaned down, close enough so he could see the absolute coolness in my eyes. You wrote that will. Yvonne. You said you kept yourself pure. You said I owed you. Well, consider the debt paid. I didn't save you from the fire this time. We are even. Actually, no. You are in negative equity. I straightened up and signaled my driver. Don't come back here, or I'll have you arrested for harassment. I got into my car. Through the tinted window, I watched him screaming at the sky, a broken man in the gutter, realizing too late that some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. I wish I could say he moved on. But men like Yvonne, men who have never been denied anything, they don't move on. They obsess. They destroy. 2 weeks later, the news broke. I was in my penthouse, drinking a glass of vintage red wine, looking out over the glittering skyline of the city I now practically own. The TV was on in the background, a low murmur. Breaking news, the reporter said, her tone grave. A tragedy on the east side tonight. Former Air G Yvonne has been arrested for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Wei Jia. I turned to the screen. The footage was shaky, taken by a bystander's phone. It showed Yvonne, handcuffed, covered in blood, being shoved into a police car. He didn't look human anymore. He looked deranged, his eyes wild and rolling. He was screaming at the camera, screaming at the universe. Let me start over. It's a glitch. I want to load the save file. I want to go back. Tang man, let me go back. Click. I turned the TV off. The room plunged into a peaceful silence. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was a text from my mom. Coming home for dinner, honey? Dad made your favorite ribs. We are so proud of you. I smiled. A real, genuine smile that reached my eyes. Something I hadn't felt into lifetimes. Yes, I whispered to the empty room. I'm coming home. The fire was out. The bridge was burned. And for the first time, I was finally free. You have been listening to Midnight Cravings. If this story fed your hunger for drama, make sure to like and subscribe. Sleep tight and remember, some bridges are better left in ashes.